644, I'm Luke Luger. Thanks for being with us. We're following the latest on the assassination attempt on former President Donald Trump yesterday at a rally in Pennsylvania. Many are wondering how this could happen. The former president was shot in the ear while addressing the crowd. We're going to learn more with WTOP's national security correspondent, JJ Green, who joins us now. JJ, who was the shooter? And, people are wondering, how was he not spotted on the roof? It was only, a couple hundred yards away.
Yeah, good morning, Luke. Let's take two different questions here. Who was he? The shooter is 28-year-old Thomas M. Crook, Matthew Crook from Bethel Park. That's about 35 miles from Butler. And he was not carrying any ID. He was identified, I'm told, by DNA. And as you say, he was on the roof across from this rally. Off to the right, if you were at the rally behind former President Trump. And he was essentially on a fairly low roof, not very terribly far from where I'm told Secret Service teams were. This individual, it's interesting, 20 years old, not even old enough to drink in Pennsylvania, but he had this weapon and he had a plan, and it's not clear exactly what that plan was. And back to how he's able to do this, there's some confusion about why he wasn't spotted. There are people that are talking about seeing this individual trying to point him out to police and law enforcement, but somehow they didn't pick that up. So this is going to be a situation that's investigated intensely over time. They're going to want to know what kind of weapon, where he got the gun, what his plans were, who his influences were, all of that. Luke?
And, we're going up onto the RNC right now. The DNC is in a couple of weeks. What sort of changes in security for presidential protections and foreign dignitaries are going to be, going forward this campaign season?
Well, the Secret Service runs the campaign. There are law enforcement from other partner agencies that participate in that kind of security, but typically there are concentric rings of security around a protectee, especially somebody who's a president or former president. And as you get closer to the person, it's going to be tighter. The further away you get, it's still going to be tight, but less tight. But I imagine those outer rings will be more tightly controlled. There's also advanced teams that usually go ahead to check out things. I imagine they're going to check their work over and over again with both of these conventions coming up. And frankly, Luke, everything that every former president and family member does now is going to be scrutinized a lot more than it was before. And this is a situation that is likely to get even more tight, not just for high level people like that, but for normal everyday people, considering the dark time we're living in.
And, we've heard condemnation from world leaders, but what other kind of international implications can we expect in the fallout of this?
Well, internationally, they have their own issues to deal with. We know there was the president of a European country, a prime minister that was shot a couple months ago. So the U.S. isn't alone in this. But one thing I can tell you for sure is that everybody sees this happen in the U.S., and I've said this several times, it just does not happen in the U.S. where a president or a former president is shot or attacked. There are those that are going to be thinking twice about, well, what do I need to do if I go to the U.S.? This is not an indictment against the Secret Service because they're the best in the world, but these are unusual times we're living in. So it's going to mean unusual things for all of us.
Thank you very much for joining us this morning, JJ. Again, that was WTOP National Security Correspondent JJ Green.